I've slowly been building a mini pontoon boat out of foam and fiberglass. With 2 pontoons and 3 deck boards done, I now have a boat on my back patio. But before I put it in the water, I need to build a rear bench. This will provide both a place to sit as well as a mounting point for my motor. I also plan on making a pull-out refrigerator drawer and storage doors under the bench seat. The whole thing is likely to be a 10 to 11 week process. This video will be my first week's progress. I let these cedar boards dry for a few months in my garage. I'm using the straightest ones for the long cross pieces, and the more warped ones will serve as smaller uprights. They will give strength and provide a place to screw in hardware later on. I'm using cedar because it is strong, light, and water resistant. I'm using Titebond 3 waterproof wood glue for the wood joints. My deck is deliberately bowed to shed water, so I'm building in place to make sure the bottom matches up to my existing surface. These L-shaped boards are for the side uprights. No matter how long your longest clamp is, there's always something you want to clamp that's just a little bit longer. Ratchet straps aren't really great for this because those boards are going to tend to try to flip around, but that's what we're going to use. I fill in the remainder of the panel with insulation foam. This will serve as interior structure and a support surface for the fiberglass cloth. I'm using a water-activated urethane glue to attach the foam to the wood. So the Gorilla Glue is dry. The foam board, half-inch foam board, is a little bit thinner than the 3/4 inch board here. So this foam glue, the Gorilla Glue, has popped out here, which is actually probably going to be useful to me. I think I'm going to be able to sand that down. It'll make a fillet, so when I fiberglass, I'll have kind of a smooth edge there. On the other side, I'm going to have to sand it down to be flush. But it's a nice easy way to make a pretty lightweight panel that has strength where you want it and not a lot of weight where you don't need the strength. So I'm just going to fiberglass this a couple layers to give it enough strength to resist impacts, and then I'll have a side for my rear seat. I'm temporarily attaching the cedar pieces of my bench together using wood screws while the Titebond 3 waterproof wood glue dries. I'll remove these later. As with the front piece, I'm measuring the rear piece in place on the pontoon boat as the deck slopes away from the middle and isn't exactly symmetrical. When all is said and done, this bench seat will take 3 full sheets of 4x8 foot insulation foam. The rear panel is almost a full piece by itself. I'm removing all of the protective plastic from the insulation foam so that the fiberglass will adhere to it better. The plastic I remove is useful as a drop cloth to keep from accidentally gluing my back panel to the patio stones. After I glued the rear panel on, the outside of the bench seat is complete. I carried it back to the rear deck board so that I could measure and glue the interior uprights. Much like the front boards, each upright is measured off of the existing deck board to account for the curve in the deck designed to shed water. When cutting the top of these interior seat supports, I am also sloping them forward to shed water off of the seat. I'm using a hot wire cutter, but it is best for small or non-straight cuts as it's slower than a razor knife. The sole purpose of this small piece is to have something to attach drawer sliders to for the slide-out fridge drawer. I try to use less than perfect pieces of foam for interior sections where they won't be visible. Due to the various angles involved, getting these interior supports right was mainly an iterative process of cutting off a small amount and then testing the fit until things worked. Once I got them all trimmed, I glued them in place so that the bottom would exactly match the deck boards below them.
Well, in the future, it would be good to put plastic down between the piece I'm gluing and the piece I'm gluing on top of. Plus side, I don't have to worry about my thing blowing away while I'm waiting for things to dry.
Nothing a razor knife can't fix. Now that the bench bottom matches up with the existing deck board, all of my other work can be done in the garage. I've embedded these PVC pipes to act as a place to mount an upright for a later sunshade. And I'm going to have these 45-degree angles that then exit outside of the back of the seat, so that if any water gets in, they will drain out to the back. And to get that hole in the right spot, I'm just going to eyeball it. I have my plastic burning or foam burning hot wire heating up here. Here's the view from the other side. I kind of just eyeball about where I think it should go and poke through, and then holding my foam cutter at about a 45-degree angle, I trace around the inside. Looks good. These plugs I cut by hand out of that foam actually look pretty darn slick. Nice 45-degree angle, mostly circular shaped, the oval there. But not too shabby if I do say so myself. Alright, I'm going to fiberglass these pipes in here, so I figure I might as well PVC cement them as I go. The tricky bit will be trying to keep from melting my foam with the PVC cement. So I'm going to have to try to go through this hole without touching the foam much. And I'm not bothering with solvent because I'm not really trying to make this thing high pressure tight. It's just a drain line in case rain gets in here. It'll also add a little bit of strength, having fiberglass all around this thing sticking through. I'm going to be putting some fillets of fiberglass, or fillets of fiberglass on either side here, and I'll have fiberglass going over it. But I figure having that thing going through the hole, as well as an exit from the inside of the boat, will also be useful just for strengthening up the whole joint.